Welcome to Rate the Audits, where we put misconduct on display, explore police and legal content, protect rights and demand accountability. This episode is brought to us by the Laughing Auditor. Be sure to check the link below and subscribe to his channel and give him the credit he deserves. In this episode, the Laughing Auditor visits Slough Police Station to film police vehicles parked outside. Despite standing in a public area and breaking no laws, officers approach him with questions. When he refuses to give a reason for filming, they escalate the situation, leading to an unjustified detainment. The auditor immediately challenges their actions, standing firm against what appears to be a clear overreach of power.
What's your name?
My name?
ID on you?
My name is Nanya.
Daniel.
Nanya.
Daniel.
Nanya.
Nanya.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's your purpose of being at the police station?
Pardon?
What's your purpose for being here?
What's my purpose for being here?
Yes.
I don't think I need to have a purpose, do I?
No, I'm just asking you a question.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Did you come to the station to report anything, or?
I don't know.
Fine. Okay. So you're going to be detained for a search, okay?
Huh?
The grounds for the search are that we've had the front staff say they've seen you on CCTV cameras looking into vehicles, okay?
As the police step out of Slough Police Station, they waste no time approaching the auditor, demanding to know what he's doing. Sticking to his rights, he refuses to answer, making it clear he doesn't have to justify a legal activity. But rather than respecting this, the officer escalates immediately, announcing that the auditor is being detained for a search. The supposed grounds? According to the officer, front desk staff saw him on CCTV, looking into police cars. But here's the problem. Simply looking at something in public is not suspicious or illegal. There is no law preventing someone from observing or recording police vehicles, especially when they are parked in a public-facing area.
And obviously you've got your face covered at the moment, which makes
What
me
powers are you
suspect
using?
might be trying to conceal your identity from us as well.
What powers are you using?
We're using Section 1 of PACE
Okay.
of the Police and Criminal Evidence Act, okay?
What's your grounds for that search?
I've literally just explained them to you, okay?
Just reiterate it, please, if you don't mind.
Oh, I've told you.
Understand it. No, can you reiterate it? And
Yeah.
I need you to formally identify yourself, because you're about to make a massive mistake, okay?
Yeah. So the object of the search is look for anything for going equipped to steal, okay?
Section 1 of the Police and Criminal Evidence Act, 1984, PACE, a law that allows police to stop and search individuals if they have reasonable grounds to suspect they are carrying stolen or prohibited items. But here's the issue. Nothing about filming police cars from a public space suggests criminal activity. Then comes the biggest stretch yet. The officer claims the object of the search is to check if the auditor is going equipped to steal. This is a blatant misuse of Section 1 of PACE, as there is absolutely no reasonable suspicion that the auditor is there to commit theft. He has no burglary tools, has made no attempt to enter vehicles, and is openly recording in broad daylight. This is not policing, it's intimidation. The officer is using stop and search powers as a fishing expedition, hoping to find something to justify detaining the auditor after the fact.
Okay,
my
go on
name's
equipped to
PC2.
steal. And what is your grounds for the search?
Yeah.
I'm asking you.
Yeah, so my name's PC217 Trooper. I'm an officer based out of the Slough Police Station.
Yeah.
I'll be,
So what's your
and
grounds for the search? Section 1 of PACE. What's your grounds? You need grounds to...
yeah, Section 1 of PACE. The grounds are that we have a report to
Somewhere-
say that the staff have seen you on the CCTV cameras actively looking into vehicles in
Is
the car
that...
park.
So what's the issue with that?
Yeah, well, I suspect from what's been reported to us that you might be looking to try and steal items from those cars.
From a
break
police
into
station
those.
car park.
Yeah. Yeah.
The buffoonery is
I know
unreal.
it sounds silly that somebody would try and steal from the car park, but it has been done and damage has been caused to vehicles before.
Right, okay, so you're just going to tar everyone with the same brush?
Now, realizing his reasoning is weak, the officer tries to justify the stop and search by linking it to past incidents, suggesting that because something similar has happened before, this detention is valid. But this logic is flawed. Reasonable suspicion must be based on the individual's actions, not on what someone else has done in the past. This approach treats everyone as a potential suspect just because they happen to be in the same location, rather than assessing whether there's any actual evidence of wrongdoing. It's a lazy and dangerous way of policing, where officers rely on assumptions rather than genuine suspicion. If this logic were applied elsewhere, anyone standing outside a shop could be searched for shoplifting, and anyone near a bank could be accused of planning a robbery. This isn't reasonable suspicion, it's profiling based on location, not behavior.
I could be a car enthusiast.
You're wearing some
I am. There's a
your face
perfect.
as
So
well.
you need to be careful with that because you know what a protected characteristic is, yeah. All right. So I wear this for health grounds. So in other words, you're going to discriminate against me because I'm wearing something for health grounds. You didn't ask me about my mask when you were talking to me, and I could have quite easily explained that. So.
Fine, have you got anything on you that you shouldn't have or anything sharp at the moment?
I've got no. I need you to formally identify yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, I have, yeah. I've identified myself.
No, formally identify yourself. 3 points identification.
Yeah, PC Tropia, 217 is my shoulder number, based at Slough Police Station.
And yourself.
Acting Police Sergeant 2273.
And you're an acting sergeant.
Yeah.
Right, what I'm going to tell you is, you're about to make a massive mistake, okay? Because you don't have grounds for a search.
Okay.
Right? And what will happen is, I'll have you in front of IOPC, and then, when that's all done with, I'll get a big compensation claim out of it. Because you're about to overstep the mark, alright?
Okay.
Because I'm walking about a car park, you've had someone saying that I'm looking into cars, even if that was true, and what?
So what's the reason for recording on the camera?
What?
What's the reason for recording on the camera?
Again, it's pretty much the same as my name. None your business. How about that?
The real reason behind this stop and search starts to come to light. The officer, instead of focusing on any actual criminal behavior, shifts the conversation to the auditor's reason for recording. This question alone reveals that the real issue isn't suspicion of theft. It's the fact that the auditor is filming in the first place. This moment exposes what's really happening. This search isn't about crime prevention, it's about policing public photography. When officers use legal powers to pressure someone into justifying a lawful activity, it stops being about enforcing the law and starts being about control.
So, because you had a report from a colleague, not a member of the public, was it a colleague?
That's a member of public.
Was it a member of the public that I was looking in cars?
Yes.
What about car enthusiasts?
Sorry?
What about car enthusiasts?
It's possible,
It's
but
possible, but you weren't giving us any indication.
I don't need to. I don't need to answer myself to you. Am I obliged to answer your questions?
you're not.
Well, there you go then.
If you had a conversation with us, maybe we could have negated this.
I did have a conversation with you. You just didn't like the answer.
Well, it's not we didn't like it.
Of course, you're now searching me. You're now searching me under Section 1 of PACE because you didn't like the answers I was giving you. That's what's happened.
It's not necessarily that we didn't like them. It's just that it wasn't ticking the boxes that we needed to
I don't, but again, I don't need to answer to you.
And then you're well within your right to do
Right,
that.
and now you've overstepped the mark. You're putting your promotion in jeopardy here. You understand that?
No, not really.
100%, yeah.
is not about
100%. Because I tell you something, pal, I do this all the time, okay? So I know for a fact you've overstepped the mark. You don't have grounds for a search. 100% you don't have grounds for a search.
We've got our details. If you want to complain, you're more than welcome to do that.
I will complain, 100%. And then I'll take Thames Valley to a civil court and I'll get a compensation claim out of it.
Under Section 1 of PACE, Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984, police need reasonable suspicion to conduct a stop and search. That suspicion must be based on actual, specific behaviour that suggests a crime, not just vague concerns or lawful activities like filming. If a search is conducted without genuine legal grounds, it could be considered an unlawful detention and a violation of Article 5, Right to Liberty, and Article 8, Right to Privacy of the Human Rights Act 1998. If the auditor takes this to civil court, he could argue that Thames Valley Police acted unlawfully by searching him without proper legal justification. Cases like this have resulted in compensation payouts, especially when officers fail to provide clear and reasonable grounds for suspicion.
What evidence have you seen of me looking into cars? Have you seen this CCTV?
Well, we have a report from college.
Have you seen the CCTV? It's still had evidence, my friend. You know what I mean? Like, I could...
We only need suspicion.
Alright.
We only need
Okay,
suspicion. We only
that lady's just went to Tesco and robbed some cheese. Are you going to stop and search her?
Have you seen her do it?
I'm making an allegation that she's done it. I'm making an allegation that she's done it. That little old lady there has went to Tesco and stole some cheese. Doesn't matter whether I've seen her do it or not. Like,
If you haven't seen her do it,
the CCTV off it, go and check that.
but how do you know that?
What?
Have you seen it yourself?
At Tesco?
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I just came out there to get a bottle of drink.
And you saw it yourself?
When the officer questions the auditor's example, asking if he actually saw the old lady steal the cheese, the auditor flips it back on him, saying, "Check the CCTV." This is the exact same argument the officer used to justify detaining the auditor in the first place. He didn't see any suspicious behaviour himself. He just took someone else's word for it. Yet, when faced with a similar baseless accusation, he suddenly demands evidence before taking action. This moment perfectly exposes the double standard. When it suits them, officers will detain someone based on an unverified allegation. But when the same logic is turned on them, they suddenly demand proof.
Again, I am alleging that little old lady with a walking stick
not about
is no, but do you know how silly your point of view is. You just said that the CCTV, you've not bothered to go and check it.
Okay, but I've had
So why wouldn't you go and check that evidence? What?
I've had it from a police colleague and members of the public.
Right, I'm a member of the public. I'm making an allegation.
Okay, but you're making the allegation based on what?
Pardon?
You're making an allegation based on what?
Based on what I might have seen.
You might have seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they might have seen it. You've not checked the CCTV to corroborate what they've said. You know, the camera is a witness that doesn't lie.
Instead of acknowledging the importance of verifying evidence, the officer dismisses the idea, saying he doesn't need to because he's already heard it from a member of the public and a police colleague. But the auditor isn't letting that slide. He flips it back on the officer, pointing out that he, too, is a member of the public and is making an accusation. If the officer is willing to act solely on someone else's word, then why does he dismiss the auditor's claim so easily? CCTV footage is factual, unbiased, and verifiable, unlike second-hand reports that can be exaggerated or misunderstood. If the officer truly wanted to conduct a fair and lawful stop, checking the CCTV should have been his first step, not detaining someone on an accusation alone.
Do you want a paper copy?
Pardon?
Can I send you your email address?
No, I want a paper copy. So you either write it out or you type it out and then print it. Do your job.
Okay.
And what's that monstrosity you're wearing on your vest? What is that?
What?
That little... It looks like a union flag, but it's not a union flag because a union flag's got 3 colours and one of those colours isn't black. So what is that? Is that police issue?
Did you say you wanted a copy? A written copy? Paper copy?
Asked and answered. So I suggest you jog on, do your work.
You want a paper copy?
I suggest, again, asked and answered. So I suggest you wind your neck in, jog back off into your station and bring me back my paperwork.
With the search now complete, the auditor immediately asks for his stop and search paperwork, a standard requirement after any stop and search under Section 1 of PACE. The officer, however, offers to send it by email instead, but the auditor stands his ground, insisting on receiving a physical copy. This moment is important because officers are required to provide a written record of the search at the time it happens, unless it's impractical to do so. While email may be a modern alternative, it's not a substitute for the officer fulfilling his duty on the spot. The auditor knows that having a physical record in hand ensures accountability, prevents officers from delaying or failing to send it, and allows him to immediately verify the details of the search. By pushing for the paperwork, the auditor is holding the officer to procedure, making sure there's a formal record of what just happened.
Okay, if you want it, you can come into the front counter.
No, you go and get it for me. You either write it out or you go and print it. I'm entitled to a copy of the search. I'm not going into the police station just now. So you can go and get me that stop and search slip. As is my entitlement.
You are entitled.
Yeah.
You're correct.
Right.
An entitlement. You can go to the front counter. We can put
No, you go and get it for me. Are you refusing to give me my stop and search slip? Well, go and get it then. Do your job.
The officer, instead of providing the stop and search paperwork as required, tells the auditor he can go to the police station counter and get it printed there. But the auditor isn't having it. He knows his rights and refuses to be sent on a detour for something the officer is supposed to provide on the spot. He pushes back, making it clear that it's the officer's responsibility to give him a copy, not make him go into the station to collect it himself, reinforcing the point that he shouldn't have to go out of his way just to get a document that should already be in his hands. Under PACE Code A, police officers must provide a written record of the search at the time it occurs unless it's impractical to do so. And there's nothing impractical about handing over a copy right there. The officer's attempt to pass the responsibility to the front desk looks like an effort to make things difficult, hoping the auditor won't bother following up.
The way that we...
Enough's been said. You've done what you've done. You've overstepped the mark.
Okay.
So shut up and go and do your job.
So the way
Shut up and go and do your job.
that we would give you...
Just shut your mouth. Be quiet. Zip it.
There's no need to be
Wished.
Now you can get a copy of the...
No need to be rude. You've just abused Section 1 of PACE to stop his search. 100% you have. And I guarantee you a civil court will find otherwise. I guarantee it.
If you want a paper copy, go to the front
Go and
desk
get...
they
So
can print it
you're
out.
refusing to get my stop and search slip, as is my entitlement. That's what's happening.
No,
I've asked you to go and get me my stop and search slip. Are you going to get me my stop and search slip? Yes or no? It doesn't matter. If you're not going to go and do it, just tell me you're not going to go and do it. Are you going to go and get it?
No.
No, there you go. So you're refusing what is my right to have my stop and search slip.
To a copy, yeah, but
I know I'm entitled to a copy, but you could provide it to me right here and now.
The officer, still refusing to provide the paperwork himself, there is no valid reason for the officer not to hand it over. He's creating unnecessary obstacles, almost as if he hopes the auditor will give up and walk away without it. It also raises another issue. Is this officer refusing because he simply doesn't want to follow orders? If so, it just shows how unprofessional some officers can be when they're held accountable. Instead of doing his job properly, he's acting out of defiance, proving the very point why stop and search powers need stricter oversight.
Right?
I don't have a printer or anything on me. But
Well, go and get it. Go and get it, bring it back out. Go and get it, bring it back out. Go and get it, bring it back out. If you're not, jog on, see you later, you're dismissed. Oh, he's back. Tail between his legs. Thought you weren't going to give me it.
I am back.
I thought you weren't going to go and get me it. You're a good little boy, aren't you?
There you go.
Yeah, you're a good little boy.
Okay.
Look at that. Stop his search receipt. So he did go and get me it after all. I wonder why he done that. He kind of knew, I think, that that was where he'd messed up.
After all the back and forth, the officer finally comes back out and hands the auditor his physical stop and search form, something he should have done from the start. It's clear he realized he had messed up, whether it was from knowing he was in the wrong or simply not wanting to escalate the situation further. Either way, it proves the auditor was right to stand his ground and demand accountability. This entire interaction is a textbook example of why audits matter. From the moment the officers approached, it was clear they were more focused on policing public photography than enforcing any actual crime. The so-called reasonable suspicion was weak at best. Instead of properly investigating before detaining someone, the officers acted first and justified later, which is exactly the kind of misuse of police powers that needs to be called out. Then came the search itself, which turned up nothing because there was never anything to find. The officer's reasoning continued to crumble, with him even admitting how stupid his own justification sounded. And yet, instead of simply acknowledging their mistake, they doubled down, refusing to provide the stop and search paperwork until the auditor forced them to follow procedure. This unnecessary resistance only made them look worse, highlighting a lack of professionalism and accountability. This interaction proves a simple point. Officers must be held to the same standard they expect from the public. If the law says they need reasonable suspicion, then that's exactly what they should have before detaining someone. If they are required to provide documentation, they should do so without argument or resistance. Instead, these officers wasted time, failed to properly justify their actions, and ultimately had to backtrack once they knew they were being held accountable. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me continue with my independent coverage. Also, don't forget to check out The Laughing Auditor. His channel is linked in the description. Show him some love. Thanks for watching. This was Rate the Audits, and I'll see you in the next one.